Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Maple Orange Glazed Turkey. With the holidays coming up, it's time to talk turkey, and this one is a really great option if you want to add just a little bit of sweetness to a savory turkey. Now we're going to be preparing this thing spatchcock style, so the first thing we're going to do is cut out the backbone. We're working with about a 15-pound turkey here, which is right in the sweet spot for me. I prefer like 14 to 16-pound turkeys. We're going to start by cutting the backbone out of this thing, which is the spatchcock method. Now don't let this intimidate you. It's not that much work. All you need is really a good pair of shears, which you can go pick up at atbbq.com. And you're going to cut right along either side of this backbone so that we can lay this bird flat. Now this has a lot of advantages. This is my favorite way to cook a turkey. It's going to cook a lot faster than cooking it whole, and you're going to get the dark meat and the white meat to their proper doneness in about the same amount of time. Save that for turkey stock if you're making it. Next, I'm going to come right in here at the top of the breastbone and give that a snip, because that's going to allow me to push this bird down flat. Now you can see how everything's all on one level cooking surface. Do a little bit of trimming here, get rid of some of this excess skin and fat. It's just hanging around. Anything inside that's kind of gross and you know you're not going to want to eat it, take it out. Next, I'm going to find just the contour of that breast right there and follow that right up. Get rid of some of this stuff that we know we're not going to eat anyway. And then remove it. Now when you get to the side here, a lot of times you got some bone left in between where that joint is on the leg. Remove that. Got a little bit left right here. We don't need that bone sticking out, so just take that off. And now we've got all of this thigh meat and all of this skin exposed for seasoning. So now this opens up all kinds of real estate for us to have access to the meat by pulling the skin back, not taking it off, but just pulling it back so that later on we're going to be able to actually season the meat itself and not just the skin. Next, we're going to mix up a wet brine for the bird. So we're using the Sweetwater Spice classic holiday flavors, just like it says. We're going to add that to a gallon of water along with a half cup of our Jacobsen kosher sea salt. There's 3 quarts in here now. There will be a 4th quart when we get it into the bag, but I need some room to mix. So we're going to dump this whole thing in here. Then I want to rinse out that bottle to make sure we get all of that goodness out of there. And we'll give it a whisk. So new to ATBBQ this year are these brining bags that come in, I think, 3 packs. This is the extra large. Although a large could probably fit one of these turkeys, an extra large could fit 2. This is kind of nice if you don't have a ton of extra vertical space in your fridge, because then you can kind of just like pop your container down. It's low profile, and it'll make sure that you don't have any leakage, which you won't with these bags. I've turned them upside down and shaken them and they won't pop open. I'm gonna throw my turkey in breast side down. And we've got a full kit for this on atbbq.com. You can buy everything all at once. It'll come with 2 of these bottles for brining, which will get you through a big turkey or a couple of little ones. So if you wanted to double up the brine, we just did 1 bottle, but if you wanted to double it up and throw another bird in here, there's plenty of room for that. And then throw this in the fridge. I typically say 1 to 1.5 hours per pound, so 14-pound bird, you can go 14 to 20 something hours, 21 hours. So here's a bird that went into brine last night. I'm gonna pull that out. Transfer it right into the prep tub. So if you plan this ahead a bit, it's not a bad idea. Say brine this overnight, take it out of the brine, pat it dry, and let it sit open in the fridge for the day. Because the more you dry this skin out, the better the texture is going to be in the end. So we'll collapse this down now and start the seasoning process. We're using the Cattleman's Ranchero for this. This is a rub specifically designed for turkey. It's got great savory flavors to it that are going to stand up to that classic holiday brine. And then later on, we're going to make a glaze, a maple orange glaze that's gonna counteract all that savoriness with some sweetness. So like we talked about earlier, now we're getting seasoning directly onto the meat, not just onto the skin that, you know, you may or may not eat, may or may not fall off when you slice it. So you wanna make sure that you got flavor all the way into the meat, not just on the surface. So before we close this thing up, we're gonna throw in some butter underneath the skin. Help baste this as it cooks, and we can pull that skin right over the top of it. So let's transfer over to a foil lined pan. The reason I like to cook these on pans is because it catches all the juices when it's cooking. And that includes any of this butter that kind of melts out. It includes all of the turkey juices and any fat that's rendered out of the skin. Now we're gonna hit all the skin surfaces with the ranchero as well. I like to put this on the cooking pan before seasoning it so that we don't have to mess with it too much, transferring it, losing extra seasoning, and then any seasoning that does fall off is gonna be in the juices that you're gonna run all your slices and even your pulled meat through after the cook. One last thing before this goes onto the cooker, I'm gonna tuck these wing tips back behind. This just kind of holds these closer together because the wings are obviously smaller than everything else, and it'll help them not overcook so much. But today we're cooking on the Yoder Smoker's YS640S pellet grill. It's running at 375 degrees, so a roasting temperature to make sure that we can really get the skin finished out. Onto the top rack here, make sure that we have some room in between the heat coming off the plate so we don't burn the bottom of this thing. And I'll throw a couple of probes in here, one in the deepest part of the breast meat, one in the deepest part of the thigh meat. Keep track of this on the app so we know where it's at. And then here in about an hour, I'll come and spin this around. 1 hour into the cook here, we're about 30 degrees shy of our target temperature of 155 in the breasts. I give this a rotation, come back and check on it here in a little bit. Hour and a half into this cook whole time, so the past 30 minutes it's been spun. See, we've got great browning, that skin's rendered out, and the internal temperature inside the breast has hit 155, so we're ready to pull this off. So now let's get to this glaze for the turkey. We'll start with some maple syrup. I'm gonna add in a little bit of chicken stock. These are equal parts. And some orange juice. Then we're gonna throw down a little bit of our balsamic, about a tablespoon or so, tablespoon of Dijon, tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves. We wanna bring this up to a simmer and reduce it down to a thickness where we can glaze it onto the turkey. So you can see how the bubbles are getting bigger. It's kind of getting syrupy. This is about as far as I want to take this. All right, let's go right over the top of the bird with this. Just kind of paint it into the skin. Our legs are going to come off real easy. All that's holding them on right now is this skin. The wings, we'll just go ahead and separate them now. Pop that joint, cut through the middle. For the wing, just take this apart here, find that joint, cut through there. Follow that up to the breast, find that joint and cut through there. Then we can take the breasts off of the bones in the rib cage, just cut along the side of that breastbone, all the way down to the ribs. Look, that thing's pretty much separated. And then you can peel the ribs off the back with your knife. All right, now for breaking down the leg and thigh, cut right in between the two. Again, just pop that joint, knife in between. What you can do with the thigh is you can actually dig this bone out if you want to serve it in slices, or you can just pick it apart and serve it pulled. So all I'm doing is just getting around that bone. It almost wants to come out on its own. That rhymes. Now if you're serving this sliced, you just roll it up like this, grab your slicer, and go at it. I think the boneless thigh sliced up and rolled up makes for a really nice presentation. Now for the breast, all those bones are out of there, so we can just cut this, slice it into nice, presentable pieces. Now don't forget about all these juices. There's so much flavor in here. You're gonna pour that over all the top of the slices. Oh, so juicy. This flavor profile in particular really rides the line of like savory and sweet. I think just the way it should. I don't want turkey to be overly sweet. Personally, I like savory foods. But this one's totally balanced out between the two. I couldn't call it one or the other. And I think that's really the objective here. So I hope you guys will give this one a try. In fact, we have an entire kit put together on atbbq.com where you can buy everything needed to make this turkey. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. And if you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments for me, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.